Welcome to Griddle Cooking with Chef Sherry Ronnie. We have some egg-themed griddle recipes for you today. So Easter's coming up very soon, just right around the corner in a couple weeks. And so I thought about one thing my family likes to do is have a nice breakfast on the holidays. And so, our favorite growing up when my kids were little, or when my kids were growing up, their favorite breakfast to have on a holiday was cinnamon roll, cinnamon roll pancakes. So it's not smashed cinnamon pancakes. It's two different things. So a lot of people get this mixed up. It's actually a pancake that's made with the cinnamon swirl and then frosted with the cream cheese icing, and it is so good. But I usually only make them on holidays because they're kind of sweet. They're kind of a little bit time consuming, not too much, but and it just is a perfect treat to have for a holiday breakfast or brunch. And so I thought about what maybe like if you want to have an assortment of different things. If you have company over, if you have like a whole bunch of people for a brunch, maybe do an egg themed griddle recipe, brunch style. So it's easy to make on the griddle. You can make a whole bunch at once and serve it. Keep it warm in the oven if you need to, if you've got like a smaller griddle. But some things that I really like to make, or I'm going to show you some options of different egg themes that I've used before. So we have the scrambled egg sandwich, which is really, really good. Um, the steak and eggs. Who doesn't love a steak and eggs for breakfast? Super, super easy to do. And it's really up levels your breakfast. And let's see what else we have. A good omelet. So this is me making a farmer's omelet. I've done that before in the group here. And this is like the finished omelet. It's got all the stuff that actually broke open and the because it was packed full of all kinds of goodness. A farmer's omelet, if you don't know what that is, it's cooked hash browns. It has usually a meat in it and maybe an assortment of different meats. So this one I had ham in it, and then vegetables, like all kinds of vegetables. So I sauteed up some mushrooms, peppers, and onions, and had that all sauteed up. Put that together, put some cheese in there, folded it up, and it was really, really good. So another thing that we like to have that has eggs in it is breakfast sandwiches. So you can do croissant sandwiches. You can do the English muffin. I've done bacon. I've done ham. I have done sausage. And, you can make the different kinds, especially if you have a group, make a variety and let them choose what they want. But egg patties are a really good one to have for the if you're doing a crowd, and just make different, even fried eggs. So let's get started. I'm going to be making today a breakfast taco, which I've been craving a breakfast taco. So I'm going to be doing that for me today. French toast, which has the eggs in it, and I'm going to up level it a little bit and show you how that I do make it special for a holiday if you're doing it for an Easter breakfast or an Easter brunch. So, and then I'm going to do an omelet. I'm going to show you again just how to make basic omelet and give you some of my tips, and we're going to get started. Let's see. Let's switch the camera over here. Um, I have the griddle. I'm using the electric Blackstone griddle. It's a 17-inch. I have the temperature set at 350. And when you're cooking eggs, you don't want to do too high. You don't want to do too low. So I found that 350 is a good temperature for it. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I may go up to 400 if I really want to rush it and keep, if I'm making a lot of stuff at once, 400 would probably be a good temperature. But let's get started with French toast. So I'm going to do the French toast. I'm going to do the breakfast taco, and then I'm going to do an omelet. So the French toast is super easy. I'm just going to crack an egg in here like that. Get out my garbage. Forgot my garbage here. And I'm just going to do 2 pieces. So I think 1 egg will be good on that. But I'm using the cinnamon raisin bread. This is my tip that I love when I want to up level my French toast is you get a good, nice bakery cinnamon swirled bread. So it doesn't have to be raisin. I know some people, I have family, brothers that doesn't like raisins, and you can do it without the raisins. So, or you can just do plain white bread if you want. But I suggest a really good bakery bread. So I have my scrambled egg, and actually I got a little bit bigger bowl there. So I'm going to do 2 eggs. And scramble the eggs up there like that. I'm using a fork. And then I like to use a splash of milk. So you can use cream. You can do this without milk if you want. I like a little fluffiness to mine. And so I'm going to add a touch of milk. I'm going to add a splash of cinnamon like that. And then I like vanilla. So I have a good Mexican vanilla that I'm going to add in here. If I have, I got just a little squirt left there. Got to get some more Mexican vanilla. I love, love, love my Mexican vanilla. So if anybody's going to Mexico and they want to bring me back some vanilla, I would love it. I love every time my brother goes, he brings me back some. But I think maybe I need to do a road trip. So we have people on. Who do we have? Dan, happy. How are you? Happy Saturday. I'm cooking on a Saturday this time. So cooking with Mrs. Jones's, yay. So I have been trying to get people to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and Mrs. Jones, Cooking with Mrs. Jones's, has subscribed to my channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. And she has her own cooking channel. So if you want to check hers out, make sure to do that. She is from Michigan. She's a fellow Michigander. And I'm so grateful that I'm just so close. I need like 50. I think I looked right before I came on, and I need 51 more subscribers. So I'm really hoping to get them by the time the weekend's out. I'm really going to be pushing and begging people to subscribe to my channel. So please don't be offended if you see all kinds of stuff with me doing that. So I just have my eggs scrambled up there, and I'm going to grease my griddle. So you can do butter, you can use oil, you can use bacon grease if you want. I'm just using just a light cooking spray. And this is something that I have people ask me all the time. Well, can you use the cooking spray on a griddle? And yes, you can. Even I have the gas griddle outside that I make all this stuff on. I have the 36-inch and the 22-inch that I will go outside with. Yes, you can use the cooking spray on there. That is a question that gets asked a lot in the groups. And yes, you can use cooking spray on a flat top Blackstone griddle. So that's another tip that I have. Okay, so it's preheated. The one thing that I love about the electric Blackstone griddle is that you can set the temperature. It's set at 350, and it actually tells you when it's ready, when it's heated. And even like when you're cooking on it, the temperature has a tendency to go down because you're cooking cold food. So you can adjust the temperature if you need to. That is one thing why I really love the control panel with the electric griddles. It makes things so much easier. Dan says that he loves Mexican vanilla. So I need to figure out how to put comments. That's one of my next thing that I'm going to to do. I haven't been able to figure out how to get comments up on the screen. So I have the comments coming in and I can see them, but I've got to learn how to figure out how to do that. That is one thing that is on my list of things to do. And cooking with Mrs. Jones, she says, "You're welcome. I'm going to share it to my community wall." Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you that are watching me. So this is a huge milestone for me. I've been working on this for a little while. I've had my channel, my YouTube channel, and I've kind of let it go for a little bit because I kind of got frustrated with it. And then I'm like, I'm just going to do it. This is the year that I'm going to make this happen, and I'm going to get those subscribers that I need. So all I'm doing is just taking just each side, putting it into the egg batter here. Now, there's a little bit that's wanting to stay, so I'm going to tuck it underneath there. So one tip, and as you see when I put it on the griddle, I'm gently pressing down. That adheres that to the griddle, so you get a nice golden part to it in the egg cooks. Because sometimes when you do it, if you don't do this, you'll have like parts that are cooked and parts of the egg that are still raw. So, and you don't want that. That is one thing that I hate when I'm doing French toast. If it is raw, then it's like, yeah, I don't like that at all. So, great tip just to make sure that you get it adhered to the griddle. So we're gonna just let this cook. I'm not going to touch it. Remember, the rule of thumb when cooking on the griddle is do not keep flipping it. So my goal is to only flip it once and then take it off the griddle. And so I'm just going to leave it till it's golden brown. And every griddle is different, so every time is going to be different. You just have to watch, and I will look at the bottom, and once I see it start to turn golden brown a little bit, then I'm going to flip it. Otherwise, I'm just leaving it be. And I don't have it at really a high temperature either. So it's going to take a little bit for it to cook. So we're just going to let it be, which is a good thing because I want to let that egg, give that time for that egg to cook that's on it. So I'm going to do the tacos, the breakfast tacos next. So I'm going to get ready. I am going to be using 2 eggs here. You're going to crack them. I like to crack it into a bowl and just get prepped up. I like my eggs fluffy, so I add a little bit of the heavy whipping cream to it. This is one thing that I guess is another tip that I have, is the heavy whipping cream to make fluffier eggs. So you can add milk to it. I've heard people adding water to it. I have not done that. Or you can just leave it, just is. Everybody has their own preference there, and it's just up to you of what you would like. So I'm doing the scrambled egg. I'm going to add the seasoning. So this is where I like to add the seasoning in here. If you forget, you can always add it when it's on the griddle. I'm just going to put it in here because a lot of times I forget. If I don't add it right away, then I forget. So you add your favorite, if I can get this turned, just salt and pepper, or seasoning, salt and pepper. That's kind of up to you. And so I'm just gonna use the fork, just scramble these together. And I basically am prepping to get ready for the next part that we're gonna do. So I'm kind of using my time and prepping. One thing that I found with cooking on the griddle, prepping all your ingredients up ahead of time is key to success when you're cooking. So I'm using the indoor electric griddle. You want to only use plastic utensils. If you're using the outdoor, you can use the metal ones. So I'm looking, and I think it looks pretty good. So I'm going to flip it over. Yeah, look at that. Let's get a little bit closer here so you can see. Nice golden brown there. It's not burnt. It's not raw. I don't see any rawness. So once again, I'm going to take just gently. I'm not going to like smoosh it down, just gently so that egg will cook on the griddle. And I can actually hear it uh, when I'm pressing. You can hear the egg part like is cooking on the griddle. And so I'm just going to let that go, and we're going to keep on working. So a tip that I have, if you are, maybe you're making a brunch, you are doing gonna make like a collection of different egg things for a brunch. If you have a group over for Easter breakfast, um, I would suggest using a tray like this. You can do, you can use a serving tray or whatever, but I'm gonna turn my oven on. Since I'm in the kitchen here, I'm gonna turn the oven on warm, and I'm gonna cook, put it on the tray, and get it in the oven to keep it warm. So everything stays warm. On mine, I have a warm and hold setting. So it's just at a low temperature, and it works out pretty good. So that is one tip that I found. Like if you're making for a crowd, you can do. If not, another tip that I have, like we have the electric griddle, and we actually have the two outside, the gas griddles. You can get one or more of them going at a time, and two people can be cooking, and you can whip out food in a real hurry for a crowd. And it's hot and it's good, and it's, to me, a lot of times it's better than uh, restaurant food, because you get it hot. You can serve, you can have people coming through and serving. But look at that. Look at how perfect that is. I'm going to pull it off. Like, you want to make sure like the sides are not eggy, like it's cooked. I can tell that the egg is cooked on it. I can tell in the middle that it's not raw. That's one thing that you want to look and make sure that it's cooked all the way in the middle. And you want to make sure that there's no part that there's uncooked egg. That is one thing with cooking. French toast can happen easily, and you don't want that to happen when you're doing that. So, and if you're cooking for a large crowd, you can fill up this whole thing with like French toast, pancakes, however. Put it on a pan, get it in the oven, and keep it warm. And, then you can serve your guests. I'm going to just pop this in the oven here like that. I can already tell it's already warm. But one thing I'm going to make sure is to get hot pads, because the pan will be warm. You'll be surprised at how warm that pan gets just from being in there. And you don't want to burn yourself when you bring it out. So, okay, the next thing that we're going to make is, and this is my favorite. I've been actually craving this. I've been sharing this recipe on different social media channels and stuff. And every time I post this, I'm like, oh, this was so good when I made it, and I really need to make it again. So this is another egg-themed recipe that you can cook to go along with Easter if you would like. And it is an egg taco. So I'm just going to start. This has actually got the grease on it. I'm just going to do just a little bit more. And once again, you can use oil. You can use butter if you want. That's up to you. I just like to use the cooking spray. I have my scrambled egg here that I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of go off to the side. I'm going to do the scrambled egg here, and then I'm going to put the taco. I'm going to use a soft shelled. I'm using a smaller one, and you can use even smaller ones than this if you want, if you're feeding a crowd, because it is kind of big. You can actually cut this in half when you're done. But I'm going to be doing the taco part over here, so I'm going to scramble over here just so it doesn't get, sometimes there's going to be egg left on the griddle, and you don't want that really in your taco. So I'm going to just pour slowly, because there is a lot of egg here. You don't want it to go towards completely out the grease trap there. So I'm going to put that in the sink. And this, you're just going to scramble. You're making scrambled egg. So in the way that you can do that, you can just kind of let it cook and like fold it. Some people like folded the egg and get like layers of the cooked egg. You can kind of do like I'm doing and kind of keep it in a group here. And then I'm using this here to chop up as I go. So I'm doing like egg pieces. You can keep it whole if you want. So my goal is to get a soft scrambled. I don't really want any brownness to the egg, but I don't want any runniness to the egg either. You want to make sure that egg is cooked, and I am doing that by like doing this, and it kind of squeezes out of the center, the runny part of the egg. So we're just going like that. This is actually a pretty quick recipe, and you can make quite a bit for a crowd. If you want to do like a whole bunch of eggs at once, pull the eggs off and then make the tacos, then you can do that. I've actually done that before, which has turned out really good. You can add different stuff to this. If you want different fillings, you can add to it. I'm just keeping it real simple. And this is a recipe that the kids really like. You know, it's simple, but it's leveled up to something that you normally can't get anywhere. I don't know if you can really get, you know, out anything like this. So, okay, now I'm going to take my tortilla shell and set there. I'm just using a little bit of shredded cheese. And I'm going to put on, I think the last time I made this, I actually put the cheese on the top, and I was like, that was kind of stupid. I should have, and basically just so the cheese melts and it kind of holds everything all together. And when I put it on the top, it will melt, but this way, you know, it actually will stick to the shell. And so I'm going to take now the scrambled egg. I'm only going to put it on half. I'm not going to put it on all of it because I'm going to fold the shell over to make a taco with it. So I'm just going to just carefully take pieces of it and get on here, and I'm just doing it on the half like that. Man, that looks good. I can't wait to eat this. I've been so hungry for this. And you want to kind of keep it towards the edge. You want to basically fill up the whole half like that. I got some pieces here. I'm going to try to get on here. Try to keep my griddle a little bit clean because I'm going to do the omelet after this. And so then I'm just going to add more cheese to it. And with this, you can add any fillings. If you want salsa maybe on this, or, you know, anything that you want. Sour cream. Dan, do you have any suggestions? Dan asked if the tray that I'm using was newspaper, or I'm gonna flip this before it gets too much. So Dan asked, is that newspaper or decorative napkins? And what it is, it's a printed, like restaurants will get the liners for baskets. I have gotten a whole bunch that I use for my blogging for recipes and stuff, and it is just a printed like wax paper is what it kind of is. It's just a thin thing, and so it's restaurant safe. It is, you know, it's safe to use with food and stuff, and I can show you a little bit more when I get it out of the oven there for you, because it's kind of cool. I like to actually use it. I have the brown printed paper. I have just plain, like I use for making cookies, just the brown wax paper that I use to line the cookie sheets. It's the same thing. And I got it on Amazon. You can just go on Amazon and type up printed paper. I'll leave it in the comments for you, just so you can see what it is that where I bought it from. So I have this. Let's see if I can get up close here. Look at the eggs. So it's nice and fluffy. It's nice and full, and you know, you can add more cheese to it. The cheese, look at the cheese melting in there. I have cheese on the top here, and then also cheese melting through there. See all the yummy goodness there? It kind of holds it together. So basically then you need to figure out like how crispy you want this. I folded it, and it is crispy from having it on the griddle. So I am just going to turn it around here, and I'm just going to go like this. And see, this is a little bit more crispy than the other side, so that actually gives you time to cook. If you're doing it, you don't want to get it too crispy, but you want to get that crispiness, that color gives it flavor. So it just makes it so good. And that's why I think I like it, because there's a little bit of crunch to it. There's the softness from the egg, and there's the melty cheese part on it. It's just really, really good. So, Dan, I don't know if we talked about this before. What would you add something different in your taco? I know I like to just keep it simple, but I know other people like to add more things. And I want to say when I made this in the past, you had suggested, I don't know if you suggested sour cream, salsa, different things. You can add that. You can serve that on the side also, is another good thing to do. So I think this is pretty good. I don't want it to get too crispy. Yeah, that's nice and golden brown on that side. So I'm actually going to pull it. I'm going to grab my tray, and remember, I'm going to use the hot pads here, like that. This is still warm. We still got the warm French toast. So I'm just going to pull this here, add this to that. But see, this is just, it's a thin, it's not printed on that side, but it's printed on this side. And it's the same, they're all the same printing on each one of them. It's the copy. But I also get this in brown. I have a brown versus the white, and it has the different printing on it. And then I just have the plain brown that I have that's a full sheet size here. So I love it. I use it all the time for different things, because it does help soak up some of the grease. If you have some, like there, it's from the warmness of the French toast and the grease, if there's any grease on there. So I love that, and that's just another thing that I use. So I'm going to pop that back in the oven, just like that. And so the next one we're going to use, I'm going to kind of clear up my space here. I am going to make an omelet. So Dan says sour cream. He would put sour cream. Cooking with Mrs. Jones's. Would you do anything? You obviously do a lot of the cooking. Do you have your own food blog, or is it just a YouTube channel? She would add sweet peppers and onions, and yeah, that would be a good thing. Yeah, there's just so many different options that you can do. And if you'd like to jazz it up a little bit, then do that. And that's one thing that's good about cooking on this. You can customize it. So I am going to just take, as you see, the griddle I still have set at 350. It's showing me the panel. It's almost at 350, but not quite. I don't have all the lines here. And so I'm just kind of pushing the, let's get it closer, if I can get it closer here. I just have these little egg bits, and I'm just pushing them out the grease trap. I'm just cleaning my griddle a little bit, and you can use like paper towel if you want. It's not really that bad. So I'm just gonna do that by just cleaning it by doing the getting it off of the grease trap. That's what that grease trap is for all of your extra stuff that you don't want, you want off the griddle. Just push it out that hole, and you can clean it up later. Okay, so we're doing an omelet. I'm doing just a basic omelet. I showed you like a farmer's omelet. I've done hash brown omelets. I've done mushroom and ham omelets. I've done like lion's mane mushrooms. When that's in season, I like to use that. But I cooked up some bacon, so I'm just going to be using just a couple strips of bacon here. And I'm going to chop that up. I'm going to get my knife out of here, which I have in the sink. So I'm just going to chop up the bacon into just small pieces. So I'm going to be doing the omelet. I am doing a mushroom And I'm going to do a little bit of bacon just for a little bit of flavor with it. You can do ham. I think my favorite probably would be ham, but I didn't have any ham this morning. I used it all. What did I make the other day? Oh, when I made the sandwiches, I made, if you didn't watch that episode, the last one I did was griddle sandwiches. So I made all kinds of sandwiches, and I ended up using my ham for that. And I forgot to buy some more ham. So we're just going with the bacon. I got it in the small pieces like that. And what are we going to do? So I'm going to be using the ring. I'm just using a spring foam pan. You can use an omelet ring if you have it, or you can do this just by putting it on the griddle. One thing that I have heard, and I'm going to test this. This is something that I've seen in the groups, but I have not tested it yet, was doing garlic. You take a garlic clove and a peeled garlic clove, and you do a circle on your griddle, and then you pour the egg in the middle of it, and it's supposed to keep your eggs in that circle. I have not tried it yet. I'm going to try it because I'm very intrigued by that, but we will see. And Cooking with Mrs. Jones, she says she doesn't have a blog. And she says, I don't know anything about the blogs. I'm teaching myself about going further. I just started a web, but I'm looking into blogs now. So yes, we need to talk. You and I need to talk because that's where I got my start, was my blog, my food blog. And I've grown that up, and then now I've expanded into YouTube. So I think it's kind of, we're maybe the opposite, to where you have got a huge following on YouTube and now you're starting to expand out. So that's something we need to do. We need to talk. So because I think we could each give each other some awesome advice. But let's go back to the omelet. So I'm doing a bacon, mushroom, and cheese omelet on the Blackstone griddle. I have my temperature preset at 350. If you're doing the outside gas griddles, you're going to want to go medium heat, not too high on that. You can use an omelet ring. I'm using this spring foam pan that I took out the bottom from as a ring. But you can just pour it on the griddle and use your spatula to keep it in a circle shape. So I've done all of that, but I'm doing it this way. So I'm going like that. I've tested this quite a bit, and this is how I am comfortable with making omelets. And so that's how I'm doing it. But as you see, I'm greasing the griddle, but I'm also greasing the bottom part of the pan so that it doesn't stick. I have my bacon there that's all chopped up. I'm going to do a 2-egg omelet. So I'm just going to put 2 eggs into the bowl here. And like that. Wash my hands. And like that. So I like the fluffy omelet. I am doing the just a splash of heavy whipping cream. I would say probably about a tablespoon. Get this out of the way. I think we got that. I like to do the salt and pepper in the egg. Like that, a little bit. Like that. And then just scramble that up. Like that. So get it all mixed up. You want to get the white so that it is mixed in there. Like that. So I have a pretty good consistency there. Let me get these eggs out of the way because I'm all done with them. And I have my mushrooms, my bacon, my eggs, and my cheese that I'm going to be using on this. So I'm going to start cooking this here. And I'm going to just pour it into the center slowly. The scrambled eggs that have the heavy whipping cream. Okay, and I'm just going to spread this around. Use the spatula so it gets all the way around. Like that. It's actually kind of thin. Maybe I should have used a little, another egg, probably a 3-egg omelet. I usually don't want like a lot of egg, but it's held its shape. It's good. You want to let it cook just a little bit, and then we're going to release the edges from there. And then I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to add my toppings and stuff to it. I'm actually going to start cooking some of the mushrooms. You can use any type of mushrooms, fresh mushrooms. This is just canned mushrooms that I'm using, and I'm just going to warm them up because they're room temperature, but I want to kind of warm them up a little bit. The bacon is cooked. I cooked that earlier, so we're good on that. And I'm just going to spread this out so that the mushrooms will cook. And I think this is probably ready. So you don't want to flip this too soon, but then you don't want the eggs to go whoosh all over the place when you do it. So, yep, it released because the spraying, when I sprayed it, it released really good. And let's try to flip this. So I'm going to use the bigger spatula. And I'm going to take and push this as far as I can underneath there. And then I'm going to flip. Ooh, just like that. Perfect. It's just a lightly golden brown. Like that. I'm going to add the mushrooms. Just spread it out. And I'm only doing half on this. I'm doing some cheese. I like a lot of cheese, so we're going to add a fair amount of cheese. Like that. And I'm going to just sprinkle some bacon just to give it a little bit more flavor there. Oh, and this too, you can customize and add whatever. If you want vegetables in there, if you want the hash browns in there, go for it. I'm going to go like that, add all the bacon. Oh, and I'm going to add just a little bit more cheese because I'd like to adhere it nice and good. Just like that. So it's not too thick. So I'm probably going to flip this. Yep, it's golden brown. I'm going to go like that. My omelet is nice and fluffy. Look at that. I'm going to try to get a little bit closer here so you can see. Look at that. It's not like bursting I didn't like overstuff it. So you can add way more to it here if you want. But it's a good size omelet. It's a fairly good, but it's golden brown on each side. So I'm not going to leave it on too long because I don't want to overcook it. Because it's cooked on the one side, then we cooked it on the other. But look at that. Look how yummy that looks. So good and so simple. I mean, what was that? Like 2-3 minutes maybe? Not very long at all. I'm going to clean up my cutting board here. I am going to go like that. And I'm going to just quickly fry up to show you how easy it is. But I'm going to do a fried egg. So another thing that you can make is a fried egg, which is super easy. Just grease the pan, put that on the 350 like that. And so remember, we're doing an egg-themed, egg-themed griddle recipes for the Easter holiday if you want to do this, or any like breakfast. This is good for any type of breakfast. I'm doing just a little bit of salt and pepper. I like to add the seasoning on mine. You can always do this after you serve it, but we're just going like that. You can leave it like that and just let it fry and do just a fried egg. I like mine over medium, so I'm going to do a little over medium egg. I'm going to shut off my oven here because I'm done with this. But look at this. So we have, look at all of that. Good there. I'm going to flip this just a little bit, and remember, try to get completely, and I'm actually going to go, because I'm going to flip it like that, and it's like that, and I'm going to just quickly flip it over like that, and boom. I'm going to do over medium egg, and because that's what I like. I don't like any runniness to it. I like the yolk to be runny, but I don't like my whites to be runny at all. So this, there you go. This is going to be, what do we have? 4 egg-themed recipes for you. We have our omelet, egg omelet. We have our breakfast taco. We have our French toast. And then here, I'm going to just touch to make sure it's all done. I'm going to shut off my griddle because I'm all done with it. Hear that? I'm going to gently pick it up like that. Boom. There we go. We have 4 egg-themed, let me get this out of the way so you can see 4 egg-themed breakfast recipes that you can do: the omelet, the breakfast taco, just the fried egg, or the French toast. So other things that if you guys want to try them, I will link a whole bunch of these into the description. So if you want to go in there, you can check it out. I do have videos on this. I have recipes on these. But another good one to make is a cloud egg. The kids would love a cloud egg. So it's so unique. I've made it a few times in here, and it's really, really good. So let's see what else we have. I'm going to go through my list here. Scrambled egg sandwich, farmer's omelet, or you can do, like I've done an egg white omelet. You can do any type of omelet that you want. Steak and eggs, fried eggs, egg patties, breakfast egg sandwiches, cloud eggs. And I know I'm missing some. I do have this cookbook. This is my cookbook, Recipes for the Blackstone Griddle. You can go online and get this from my website, FromMichiganToTheTable.com. In there, I have the omelet. This one is the ham and cheese omelet that you can make on the griddle. Super, super delicious. I also have in here the French toast recipe to make. Every single one of my recipes in my cookbook have a full color page on them. This has the before and after. So every recipe in my Recipes for the Blackstone Griddle cookbook have a color photo with it, so you know what you're cooking. That's one thing that I hate, is getting a cookbook and there's absolutely no pictures in it, so you can't see what it is that you're cooking. You won't get that with this one. It is an awesome thing to have in your collection. So just make sure to go to my website, FromMichiganToTheTable.com. And there's a shop button. If you go on the top, there's the bar, the shop, Sherry shop. If you're looking on mobile, just hit the 3 lines and you can go in it from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Dan says, it looks great. Yes, I think they all look delicious. I'm ready to dive into a couple of these. I'm actually going to be trying a few of these for, it's lunchtime now here. So, yep. And Dan says you can always add salsa, like to any of these. The omelet, serve it on the side. It makes a great thing. And Dan says, how ahead can you make the cloud egg? I think the cloud egg, you can make that a few minutes. It actually holds pretty good. The yolk in it is runny, just like this fried egg. So it basically would be pretty much like the holding time of like a fried egg, I would say. So that the egg yolk is exposed, so it may dry a little bit. You may want to like keep it covered with a dome lid or something on it. But I've actually never tried holding it, so I'm not quite sure how I've always just taken and eaten it. And after I've gotten it off the griddle, it is all I can say. It's a unique texture, and it is something that it's like you would never think. And it was like, I don't know, I'm probably not gonna like this. But the last few times that I've made it and tried it and actually given it a good thing, it's kind of tastes really, really good. It is, yeah, that's about all I can say. It's something that you really got to try, and you never know, you might really like it. So thank you for watching me today. Make sure you subscribe to my page. I need 51 more subscribers to my page, and I'm trying to get that by this weekend. So I appreciate each and every one of you watching, and we've got a couple more weeks till Easter, so you never know what kind of recipes I'm going to come up with. I will be getting more recipes for you, and I plan on to continue doing my YouTube channel and getting all kinds of griddle recipes for you to try. I have a huge list of recipes that I want to bring to you guys. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk later. Bye.